The gap between you and millions is discipline. Discipline and understanding that the way that you need to execute is going to be no matter what, right? So when I say that the lessons are in the losses and the lessons are going to be what makes you the best trader, I'm starting to realize that a lot of people don't know what I mean by that. So let me just show you what I mean. Because everyone is capable of turning 100 into $100,000. In this case, I'm doing a public challenge. I'm turning 100 into 150K with a select group of people. At the same time, I want to show you why the week didn't turn out how I thought it was. Because we were in, if I'm not mistaken, three different pairs. We were in US oil, Bitcoin, GBP USD. All three of those pairs at some point gave us an opportunity to turn the 100 into a couple $100. I think one of them was like $250, another one was like three something, $400, and the next one was like 400, $500. But at the same time, the way that my mindset works is what I have to teach you guys, like at least how do you say, I guess open your mind to it in the public, but most of my teaching is going to be in the mentorship, so on and so forth. But even within the losses, it's going to be the emotional intelligence part that's getting the most work once you understand the way that the market moves and how just how everything works in general. So, the way that I trade, I'm very asset minded over the long haul of things. Assets go up, but that doesn't mean over the short term that assets can't go down either. But at the same time, that's where the money and the discipline is if you understand the way that the market works and you understand the only way that you can get manipulated is if the market starts breaking the rules. Even me looking at what we're about to look at together now and like the dollar situation of where we are currently, the market still hasn't necessarily broken the rules, but it is retesting an area that was April the 1st, if that makes sense. So that's where you would have to kind of have a disciplined mind as a trader in order to understand what your bias is, how you tend to execute, and if you do lose, what is the reason for that. So ultimately, this week we blew that $100 account. Yeah, it was like $120. We blew that one. But for the most part, it really just blew, I think, on Friday, but I didn't even wake up till like 1 o'clock. But at the same time, by the time the market, I think we were in Bitcoin at that moment in time. Bitcoin came all the way down, but even looking at the aftermath of how Bitcoin came down, the market is not falling and rising on accident. I think that's the main part that people have to get to understanding when they trade is that the market, when it falls and it rises, it's not falling and rising on accident. Typically, it's going to be in structure. Now we got all these time frames to look at and to decide between how you're going to execute. That's mainly why I end up just holding long term. But for the last couple of weeks, it hasn't been working out the best for me because when I started this challenge, the first trade that we had, we held for 3 weeks of the challenge. The challenge is like 8 weeks long, and then 3 weeks later, we blew that account, and then the probably next three in line didn't make it. But it's like if I just got off holding a trade for 3 weeks, and I've known that multiple times I could turn 100 into six figures in one go in a few days, in a few weeks, then I'm not going to do anything different than kind of figure out what kind of market that I'm in because it's not the strategy or you that needs to change. It's just your timing in the market because timing is the greatest blessing. And that's exactly why I'm going to go ahead and extend this 100 to 150K account challenge because it's like people got to understand no matter how long it takes to get it, once you turn 100 into 150,000, you're not just starting from zero, even if you decide to withdraw all that money, right? Which I would recommend if you don't have 150K, withdraw all the money, start over again with $100. Because that's what I tell my students all the time when they are able to flip their accounts into six figures. Because it's a certain amount of, I would say the favor in the markets that we have right now is that we're starting with smaller accounts because in some of my accounts, my bigger accounts, the investment accounts, I have one account alone I showed you guys earlier. It's down $20,000 in drawdown, but that's not something I'm just used to it. I'm used to it, and that's just one account. That's a crypto account. That's not even a stock account, if that makes sense. So it's just like I don't know. That's where the emotional intelligence is. So it's just like I don't trade like I don't think something's gonna not work out, but when it's time for it to not work out, I understand why. And the blessing is starting with a small amount of money because I guarantee you, if I was trading a $10,000 plus account, we will be down all of it. Like my mindset is if this $100 account blows, the $10,000 account would have blown. If this $100 account blows, a 500K account would have blown because we're in the same market. If that makes sense. So it doesn't mean hey, let me start with more money so I can survive longer. People don't understand that if your discipline is not even right to trade the same direction, no matter what, and understand like trade the same way no matter what, if you and understand that the market has rules and sometimes we get stopped out, some seasons we just get stopped out, and I gotta be okay with it. It's the no matter what factor, and it's like I think that maybe some of you guys have never been through nothing at the same time, so you're thinking the worst thing that's ever happened in your life is a blown account. But it's like the blown account is really the foundation to it's gonna really get you to where you need to be. Like I'm first generation multimillionaire in my family, but at the same time, the trials and tribulations I was having last year is that, I was having business disasters go down. Merrill Lynch, I had an account with them for 11 years, a couple accounts with them for 11 years for stock investments. And I'm thinking the stock investments are better than having just money sitting in the bank account because of hacks and people closing accounts and shit like that. I'm thinking I'm making a smart decision having Merrill Lynch. And then they call me on one random Tuesday morning. I'm out of town at the casinos over in Shreveport, Louisiana with the guy I was dating back then, and then that closing my accounts at the same time. I'm out of town. I just blew $3,500 at the fucking casino too. We just got there that morning, but we on our way to New Orleans. We on our way to New Orleans. So then I'm getting a phone call. We never even make it to New Orleans 'cause I gotta come back to Texas, figure out what the fuck's going on with all my accounts because all my devices were here, if that makes sense. But that's an example of a blown account in that scenario because it's like that situation was happening like February, March, and they didn't even get the money to Fidelity and give me some of the money and checks and shit until way later that May. That's months and months and months of waiting. But at the same time, nothing changes because those are my assets. And at the end of the day, they have to give me those assets. When you're thinking about losses in the market, the losses, one, are going to teach you what's right and what's wrong, but you just gotta pay attention. And that's a part of success leaves clues. So it's like if I'm paying attention to what the brokers did to me, what Merrill Lynch did to me, how I had to move in that situation, and at the same time, I got a payment processor going down, Stripe going down for whatever reason. I never had no high ass like disputes or anything like that. It doesn't make any sense. I think it was just like an industry thing of them shutting down the payment processor. Stripe was the only payment processor I had for a majority of, when I had Sniper Scope, when I have Sniper Scope. So it's like it just made me make a different decision, but then it's like from that different decision, the foundation is stronger. So it's like I have Sniper Scope as a site that's still active and running, the business is still active and running, but it's like I even have to make a decision on am I working on two businesses or is it one? It's really just one because it's like me now is thinking 100 million, if that makes sense. Like I have 100 million on the mind, so it's like my habits have changed, my discipline has changed. And unless you have the same goals as me and better results, we have to do it this way because it's the only way to get to the number that you want, if that makes sense. And it doesn't matter if the market is buying or selling. If assets are absolutely flipping over to sales, then I don't mind selling assets and buying the dollar. But here over the next few minutes, you're going to see exactly why I'm saying to kind of hold off on thinking all assets are going to sell off until we really have that signal because we are just coming off of a Friday, but even the dollar itself fell in line. So when we were buying, well, yeah, let's just get into this real quick because I could talk all day about it. But the losses are meant to teach you something. If $100 account's not going to make it, then your big account's not going to make it. So last Friday, we get into Bitcoin buys, and this was the buy over here. What's today? Today's the 16th. So let me see. Tuesday, Sunday, Saturday. Yep, that sounds about right. So over here is when we're getting into, Bitcoin buys, crypto buys, dollar sales, so on and so forth, that Friday going into the weekend. And then we get a giant pump from 78 all the way to 82. And that's been the entire month of May so far because the market has been 30 days behind I mean, since last year, of what my experience is, what I noticed, because the market took off last year in April, closer to Easter, if that makes sense. So it's like the trade wasn't wrong. We check it from here to here, and at some point the account's at like 450, $500. But it's like if I understand how assets work, higher highs, higher lows in the uptrend, lower lows, lower highs in the downtrend, then the market comes down. And to me, it's falling in structure. So the level of demand that I'm watching was this level of demand right here, which is where we broke out from, which is where we originally bought from. And at first, you'll see on this level, on this level here, that we do shoot up for like on the lower time frame. So like probably like the 4 hour time frame, we do shoot up from that level one more time, like right over here. And then ultimately going into Wednesday is when that account blows, but we shot up from this level once and we shot up from this level twice, but that's on the 4 hour chart. Move it back into the daily chart. You see how the wicks are representing itself of the market. We buy from here to here, and then you see this wick here. It's the market shooting up from the level that we bought from originally, making me think it's going to be a higher low, but then the market shoots down one more time. Well, shoots up one more time and then completely annihilates the account. So at this point, the account I think went from like 120 to like $10, right? And then we're no longer floating $500 in profit. But at the same time, I always tell you guys, if you need the money, you can absolutely take the money. But if you don't take the money, and I tell you to take it if you need it, the thing is, if you need the money, you're never going to make it to $100,000 in one go, because it's like there's a lot of different numbers we have to pass up if you know, as you can see. So it's like you have to pass up 500 to even get to 2,000, because very rarely you're going to go from $100 account to a $2,000 account. And you know, you're gonna have to pass up 1,000. You gotta pass up 400. You got to pass up 1,500 to even get to 2,000. So then, why do people think it's gonna go from $100 straight to 100K? We have all these numbers to pass up before then in this situation, and like many others during this account challenge, the market isn't holding in that stance. So it hasn't been really a swing market. It's really been an intraday's market and a scalper's market. But at the same time, unless you have a big account, you're not making no big ass giant flips on no scalp, because you're not holding long enough to get the flip, if that makes sense. So that's Bitcoin. But even where it's resting right now, you see this, how the market has shot up from this level, shot up from this level. Technically, it was a fake out because it closed within this level here. We retest under it. Hindsight 2020, I see that now. But if we already rejected this level here, this high, and we respected it here, why are we retesting it again right here? That's the manipulation part of it all. But that's the blessing in starting with a smaller account size, because it's like if you starting with a small account size, and me, I've turned 100 into 100K a few fucking different times plus, and I've taught people how to do it. Plus, you know, some people not even going straight to 100K. Some of them going to 250K. Some of them going to $300,000. Some of them going to $500,000. I have 7 millionaires under me. Come on, bro. I don't have an eighth yet. Who's gonna be my eighth this year? But it's just wanting to learn from your losses so that you know that you don't have anything else to learn in this market. That's what I try to tell people. Like, I like to look at the market, but I'm looking at it as a stance of opportunity. Where's my opportunity? And if I understand what the dollar over the long haul is doing, there's nothing that the dollar can do that's going to sway my bias of me thinking that I'm wrong, because I'm not wrong. It's just the timing that is off, but the timing is the blessing. And that's exactly why I'm going to extend the challenge, because because if 150K comes this summer or comes by the end of December, you got to think of it. Some of you guys are not even making 150,000 a year. So if you follow along with the challenge and take the same risk as me, and I've done it a couple fucking times, like in the last year, and taught people all over the world for the last, what, 6 to 7 years, then where is your risk? You just have to take the same risk as me, because a lot of people, they're not going to want to continue to take the same risk because they're thinking it's not going to work. And then when it works, they want me to do it over again like a stupid dumbass. And you only get this chance to start from the bottom and build with me one time, because this isn't even the signals. This is an account challenge. By the time I release the regular signals, you getting regular signals prices. You're not getting an opportunity to follow me to $150,000 like you are right now, because Look at how much grief y'all done gave me over the last few months of trying to help you niggas build from rock bottom. Why the fuck would I want to do that going into next year? I'm balling the fuck out on people's heads next year. Not only am I balling out on people's heads next year, these prices gonna do it as well. Price is gonna reflect the receipts that I had to do to make you believe in yourself because I shouldn't have to talk you into wanting a better opportunity for yourself. So if I'm telling you how the market works and what the rules of the market are, in this case, the dollar, we're looking for lower lows and lower highs. The lower lows and lower highs on the daily chart are broken, right? Originally, we tried to sell over here and thinking it was going to reject from this level to this level, but we broke structure and it's been going up ever since. Then I'm thinking it's going to reject from this level, what, Wednesday going into Thursday. And as we can see, they said, fuck that, don't give a fuck. But the true trend started on these two fractals over here. That's why you got to understand why you losing so that when you are losing, you can see if it's you or if it's the actual market. In this case, it is the market doing the manipulation, but it's the time frame. I'm thinking at first at the beginning of the week, I'm thinking it's the monthly chart that had the retest, and it still is the monthly chart having the retest. But in this case, earlier in the week, the monthly chart having the retest, it was like down here, so on and so forth, I think. Let me see on the daily chart. Yeah, it was like at this level. Um, at 98. So what 98.6? Let's go to back to the weekly chart. 98.6. So right over here. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. The monthly chart's needing a retest. It do, but now the monthly chart is bitch ass. It's fucking manipulating. Like in a downtrend, if the market is retesting the highs, if we're retesting the highs, it's a manipulation tactic. Now, going into next week, if we reject this level, then the dollar manipulating on the monthly chart, because just like the other time frames, you see how we got a wick here, a wick here, a wick here, and this is a weekly chart wick, and this is a weekly chart wick, and this is a weekly chart wick. What if this is just a weekly chart wick two to the downside? You know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about. It's just perception. Your perception has to be different. Your perception has to think in the mind of my mind if you really expect to take 100 into 150 in one go, because my thought process is very disciplined. But my thought process is this disciplined because of the results that I've had. So it doesn't matter about humans in general. 'Cause I'm a human too. I started off as a human, but it's like I've done the evolving it takes to get the results that I have. And because I've done the evolving, because I have those results, the people that want those results as well, and the people that I teach to get those results, they have to go through the same process of me. They have to take the same wins. They have to take the same losses. They have to pass up the same numbers, or they're not going to get anything close to me at all, and that's the harsh reality of everything. And to me, I would never have thought that I would be here speaking in front of everybody, because I think it's fucking stupid. I think that I'd be tired of trying to talk to people and educate people, but it's like it's not even that. I think it's that you can't tell me anything unless you got results, unless you've done something in this world, unless you can show me something better. Well, and it's like to me, if the broker is one thing, I show you the back office is one thing. But if I show you the back office of the broker, and then I will draw the money, take it to Kraken. And then I'll draw that money, maybe it hit Coinbase or Cash App. And I would draw that money, maybe it hits the ledger. And then some of it goes to the bank account, because y'all know how I go with the bank accounts. If you don't, we'll get into it in another video. But if the money can be moved across brokers, it's no longer demo money. You know what I'm talking about? The apartments I used to have, they weren't getting demo fucking money. I didn't buy houses and invest in real estate with demo fucking money. I'm not writing $25,000 checks with demo fucking money. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not helping my sister pay her bills with demo fucking money. So it's just like, what is different? And it's like sometimes I don't understand the losses, but it's like it's only $100. And I know where I was back in 2017, 2018. I understand the upbringing that I had back in the day. I remember in high school working two jobs and really being at the gym because I just didn't want to be home anymore. there was a lot worse that I was going through than being embarrassed in front of the entire world because I can't get the market to do what the fuck I needed to do. At the time, I wanted to do it, but that's the thing. That's why I stopped. I'm like I don't know, like I'm not anxious about anything. I feel like the days were good. I still work out. My kid, she's been going the last couple of days. Thank God, it's somebody else's turn. Love her to death, but I homeschool. Sometimes mommy want to be Naomi and not mommy. You know what I'm talking about? But things are good. It's just a matter of figuring out which time frame is giving you a run for your money, and there's nothing to be anxious about because if you're anxious about anything, you've put too much money in the market, and that's when you have to back out. And that's what I'm saying. Merrill Lynch, I had a lot of my assets with them because I mean I had Bank of America as a bank at first, you know what I'm talking about? But then it's like even the brokers and the banks, they cool with the situation until they fucking not. Because it's like they would ask me if I wanted them to take over my brokerage accounts, would you have shut my accounts down the way that you did had I let you taking over my brokerage accounts? Or you just doing it because I'm doing a great job at it? Because I walked into the bank plenty of fucking times and they thinking it's a fake check or da 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 or whatever. And then I don't mind going to that little room in the back because I know all my shit checked the fuck out. And by the end of the conversation, they either wondering what the fuck I do for a living, trying to see if they can take over the account, or I'm getting thrown out the bank like I did with Mrs. Doubtfire over there in McKinney, Texas, because she don't understand what the fuck going on. And she not even the head boss. She just a regular bank teller. But she gonna look me dead in my face, ask me questions about the business, and then tell me she not gonna give me the money. Mrs. Doubtfire, the shit don't motherfucking matter, cause somebody gonna give me the money today. This branch solo might not give me the money today, but the branch up the street will, and that branch over there, Wells Fargo will, if I pay their little extra fucking fee, and if I need $40,000 and you don't want to give me $40,000, then bitch, I'm gonna go over your head. And that's really what it is, a perception of everything. If you gotta be willing to go over everybody's head to show them and prove a point that you fucking right. Because at the end of the day, I may have got thrown out that bank because I done threw the trash at the goddamn door. But at the end of the day, she's still working, and that was years ago. That was fucking years ago. I bet Mrs. Doubtfire is still there because she never thought to think outside of the box. Sometimes it's the box that's holding you down. So you thinking, oh, the dollar's going up. I'm going to change my perception of what I know is right because things are not working out in my favor right now because I don't understand that the timing is the blessing. So because I need to get my bills paid by this month, this week, this year, I'm trying to be rich by Tuesday, da 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 da, then I'm going to be impatient with the market. I'm going to use a bigger account size, and then I'm going to play victim with the market and I work it out in my favor when I should have started with a small account anyway, or at least been okay with losing no matter what, because there's been plenty of times to where shit, fucking meme coins and shit like that. I remember last year there was two times specifically. It was a $5,000 investment and a $10,000 investment. Shit was like back to back. It was like a week and a half difference. I think at first I invested 10,000 or something, and look, that's the opposite. My black ass should have started with the 5,000 first. And fuck the 5,000. My ass should have started with 1,500. But that's hindsight 2020, bro. It's always like I should have did this, but you didn't know that was gonna happen. So that happens with wins and losses. Some of my big ass account flips, if I knew it was gonna happen when it happened, I would have bet more. I would have had more money. But that's everything. That's everything. This market included. I focus so much on technical analysis because when it comes to fundamental analysis, I don't know anybody in the government that's going to give me the keys to the streets because to be honest, if I didn't work my ass off to get to where I am right now, they would have fucking left me there, right? So if I didn't understand that the market and the dollar is always printing money, we in the war and they finna fund this war one way or another, what time frame is being manipulated? What time frame needs to retest? If I understand high point, high point, high point, retest over low point, okay, we should have stopped the retest here, and we did. You see this yellow line here? This would have been a perfect retest of the bottom, but this month chart, we only 16 days into this month, into what, May, until we hit June. So what if the 17th day or the 18th day, the dollar decides it don't want to manipulate no more, and it's slingshot. It's like a up, down, come down, running into a brick wall, trying to break this door down and I can't break the door down on the first go, so I gotta run backwards 75%. I gotta run backwards 75% and run at the door again, and hopefully I break it this time. That's the perception you gotta play. You gotta play that game in your head of trying to figure out what the dollar is doing. But notice how I didn't change my bias just because I didn't get what I needed at the moment I needed it. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's almost like the wait is better, but it's what you do in your waiting season that's gonna make all the difference. Like I still work out. I say I can't just sit here and watch the market all day. I can, but I still got six dogs. I still got a daughter. I still got business shit I'm working on. Still got founder shit. I still got CEO shit. My family's still fucking insane. I'm still helping my sisters, out and shit because it's like the top of the year, even the top of the year, it's easy for me to let go and let God because I would have never thought any of that crazy ass shit would have happened. And then the last few weeks running into family members and shit, and everybody want to call me and shit now. No, bitches, where the fuck were y'all when all this was happening to me? And my mom's running in traffic and we can't find her and she all over the fucking country. She's all over the country. She's in New York. She's in fucking Vegas. She's in Louisiana. Like, where are you going? She lost her job, bro. Everything's fucking crazy. So it's just like this market is the least of my fucking problems because I actually have control over this. The one control I have is the discipline of my approach because the discipline of my approach is correct. So it's like if you don't have discipline in your approach, then you need to start with not these fucking charts, but maybe you need to start on the treadmill and get on that bitch for 20 minutes every day. Because that's going to help your disciplined approach. That's going to help your consistency. If you find any reason to not go work out for 20 minutes every day, don't even trade that day. Don't even trade that week. If you can't get on the treadmill for 20 minutes every single day, 20 minutes out of fucking 24 hours, then you got a bigger problem than these fucking markets manipulating, if that makes sense. So that's the dollar. We looked at Bitcoin. Let's look at oil and then let's look at GBP USD. Man, look at oil. Okay, so we already been buying oil, but it's not the monthly chart we bought it on. Sorta. Watch this. The weekly chart. Um, Let me see. Let's go into the daily chart. It was Wednesday that clapped us. Wednesday clapped the fuck out of us. We bought like over here like Sunday, Monday, I think. I forgot. Sunday, Monday. And we or yeah, maybe it was Monday. I think later Monday going into Tuesday is when we bought it because Bitcoin started playing games. But then we had very quickly took that shit to $250 from a $100 account after getting out of Bitcoin because I saw Bitcoin getting ready to come down. I didn't know it was going to come down that far, but that's the magic of it. I didn't know it was going to come down that far, but I could have took it. But what if it didn't go down that far? And some people were like, well, you could have just re-entered. Okay, well, did you re-enter when it went from 56 to 115? Okay, you didn't. All right. So let's get back to the program that I'm teaching because I can actually ride those kind of swings in the market if that makes sense. So I'm a break and retest trader. I'm a pattern trader. I'm a supply and demand trader. I'm a trend trader. I can counter trend as well, but when it comes to me trading with a group of people, it's better if I trend continuation because you guys are not always paying attention. I swear you not. I've been teaching for so long. You can't even convince me that you are, right? Because sometimes you got other stuff going on. And it's okay because you can have other stuff going on and still get into the main trend. So we get stopped out, yeah, like Wednesday going into Thursday. But same fucking approach. That shit is crazy. But we getting slung like a dumbass right now. It's not always like that. Every single year is not always like this. But that's how I be knowing I'm finna go on a crazy run because not every year I'm getting slung in this market like a dumbass. That I'm still waiting for breaks in structure. We break structure, we're just not necessarily holding structure. And then we break structure, we slam down, blow our shit, market come back up, close within the structure that it broke twice. Twice. Oh, you got a little bit more in that motherfucking account, huh? Just in case you added some shit on there, you dumbass bitch. Just in case you added something, let me take your shit one more fucking time, break your spirit, so that you can change your mind because you're not disciplined. You're not listening to Naomi. That's what the market's saying. Yo ass not disciplined. You're not listening to Naomi. She told you not to change your bias. I'm just whooping your ass for no reason. You taking an ass whooping for no reason, but here in a little bit, you're gonna change your bias and you're gonna whoop your own ass. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you gotta take a different approach and trick yourself, change your perception. Because check this out. Check this out. The perception change. To me, if I know that I want $100 million, why not? Why not have $100 million? I don't have no use for it, but I got better use with 100 million than I do zero fucking dollars. I help a lot of fucking people all the time. You can't tell me I don't. I done bought houses for people. I done bought motherfucking cars for people, and ain't nobody ever showed up in my life and done the same to me. And I can tell you the first time I really fucking realized that when I was like 18, 19 years old. Remember, I moved out at that age, so yeah, it had to be 18. My first Christmas out the house. And I'm serving tables. I'm 18 years old. I'm doing good. It's not popping though. I'm actually working at Macaroni Grill back then. This was like right before I get fired. That's probably my last 6 months at Macaroni Grill. I'm working at Macaroni Grill. I got tenure there. I started when I was like 16. So at that point, I've been there for like 2, 3 years. And I'm getting good tables, and the guests already know me. I worked my way up from a host to be a server, and then I didn't go to college right away because I already had an apartment, and I didn't want to be like when yeah, I thought at the time I didn't have nobody ask, but I thought at the time if you was a freshman you would have had to stay on campus, but I had just got this apartment and I couldn't figure it out, so I just didn't go to school that year. And so I'm working the whole time. And then that Christmas, I got a lot of money saved up. I wasn't invested in nothing back then. I'm only 18 years old. I got into this closer to when I was like 20, 21. So I'm 18 years old and I'm buying everybody in my family. I got them laptops for Christmas. You know what the fuck I got for Christmas? I got a fucking umbrella. And ever since then, I was done with it. I got my mom a laptop, my sister's a laptop. They're young though. My sisters are young. Mom got me an umbrella though for Christmas, and I balled out for everybody. That story of my life. That's before I even had money. So it's just like at the same time, it's just like certain shit don't concern me because I've just experienced it so many different times, and now it's time for you to experience that. It's no matter what, and just because something's not working out in your favor right now doesn't mean it's not going to work out. You just got to stay disciplined with how you're executing, because I used to be that trader too. That's why I understand you guys so well. I used to be that trader that will blow my shit. I will blow my account on buys to sales, to buys to sales, to buys to sales, long before the market even moved and whipped my ass. The market couldn't do shit to me because I was doing it to myself. So by the time the market actually moved, because let's look at how many, this is 4 hour chart. So for 4, 8, 12, 16, damn near 24 hours. And we know how y'all get, especially when y'all fucking scalping and intraday trading, mainly scalping. Y'all think y'all intraday trading, but even intraday trades back in the day, I was still holding for like 3 to 5 days, if that makes sense, because you have to be able to hold the swing. Now, if you switching from buys to sales to buys to sales, you never get this because every single up and down candle gonna be a buy and a sell for you. So now your ass confused and can't do it. So I'm doing what I say and how I teach you guys how to hold y'all's trades. It's coming from a source of you have to be able to do it even after this account challenge is done, because once the account challenge is finished, I ain't ever doing this shit with y'all again. We gonna be doing regular signals. Y'all gonna have to figure out y'all loss sizes and y'all risk management for yourself, because I'm really a high risk trader. I'm extremely high risk because 9 times out of 10, especially with a small account, I'm right. But you don't see me doing that with the big ass accounts really either. Like there's a certain way that I'll handle the small accounts, and there's a certain way that I handle the larger accounts. But in the beginning, it's still the same approach in order to get it that way. And that's how I do it over and over again, if that makes sense. So you have to listen to what I do and how I operate and try to implement it the same way. Yeah, you can argue there's more than one way, blah 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 blah, but there's more than one way, and your ass still ain't got 100 motherfucking K. Blah 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 the fucking blah. That's what I'm talking about. That's all I fucking hear. There's more than one way, blah 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 blah. And bitches ain't got no shit. Shut the fuck up. Don't nobody care what you talking about. Don't nobody care what you talking about, because this is the way you gotta think unless you can fucking show me something. I've been waiting for people to show me some shit for so long, and since nobody showed me, I'm not listening to nobody no more. It don't matter. We're finna take these accounts to $150,000. I am taking the June 1st timing off of it because timing is the blessing. Whoever mad be mad, but it's like I don't have nothing to gain and I don't have nothing to lose other than I'm here to show my ass on this internet to show you what the fuck I'm capable of doing. And then when you finally come to get that epiphany that I was right all along, I want you to understand prices will reflect accordingly. because that's how it is. Just because Walmart stock is down, didn't your mama still go and get the groceries at Walmart earlier today? Then you go over here and go pick up your goddamn your pink pineapples and shit? It's same shit. Just because the stock is down don't mean business stop operating. You got to understand that oil is still bullish. Oil is still bullish. We got manipulated over here, clapped our ass, but we survived three clappings. Gee, you tried to clap us, we survived. Bitcoin tried to clap us, we survived. Oil tried to clap us, we survived. We get back into Bitcoin after oil finally clapped us. We take $10 to $40, and then $10 can't go to $50. It go to zero. Oh, that bitch ass account wasn't gonna make it. Next fucking setup, because you can't think you finna be no millionaire and thinking you're not gonna take no fucking losses. There's no way. That shit's so delusional. All right, let's look at GU real quick. This will be the last one. So when I was thinking about buying GU, it was like over here closer to this trend line. As you can see, closer to this trend line, we do get a break in structure and then it go up a little bit, right? But at some point, probably closer to the London session, it just starts breaking down. But then how is London session? Look, and this is what you got to pay attention to. So closer to London session, price start breaking down. So going into London session, US session, London session, and US session again, this is a multi-day swing. This is Wednesday going into Friday. How, and that's what you got to pay attention to. How are all these time frames, all these sessions, all these days, all just deciding it's going to sell off? That's when you got to kind of take a step back and realize, okay, if it's selling off like that, what am I missing? You're missing this, the manipulation. It probably should have stopped up here, right? But oh, that's too easy. That's exactly where it's exactly where we were. Too many buyers in the market over here. So the market's like, I show a bitch how to go down a slide for real. Oh, that's showing our ass. That's showing us how to go down this motherfucking slide. Because really, unless we bought down here at the end of March, ain't nobody safe. It's fucking May. Ain't nobody safe in this level. March over here is the only way you're gonna be safe. God forbid we break this bitch. I don't even know. I'm gonna have to reevaluate if we break this bitch right here. But this is a perfect fucking entry. You telling me the only other time that I've seen something like this happen is when the market was getting ready to turn around in 2021 and it was going from a bullish market into a bearish market. But at that same time that year, from November of 2020 going into May of 2021, remember that $7,000 trade that I was talking about that turned into 300,000, 350,000 in 2 weeks? That was that swing, but that whole swing total started with $700. $700, three fucking figures, and it it was what 700, yeah, $750,000 from that November to that May. So it's like when I'm looking at swings like that last 2 weeks, it's like every day that shit went from 10,000 to 25,000 to 50,000. Then one day that bitch was at 150,000. Next day that shit was at like 200,000. And the final day that bitch was like 300,000, 350,000. But after fees and shit, I ended up taking like 300,000. But that's when I'm like, man, this shit getting suspicious because it was the same shit. All the time frames, all the fucking what's it called? All the sessions, London session bullish, Asian session bullish. It was like an extended bullish session on session on session, day on day on day. No relief, no relief. And then the bitch finally turned around, and then we had a 2022 bear market going into 2023. But I remember that because I was in real estate. I'm getting clapped in real estate, but it's like real estate way more expensive than the small accounts that we're trading over here, because when you don't have anything, you don't have no choice but to start with small accounts. And then because you don't have no choice but to start with small accounts because you don't have nothing, just like I didn't, you got to understand your perspective, your perception needs to change. You thinking, oh, I can't lose this. You don't have nothing to lose. You don't have shit to lose. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't have nothing, what is there to lose? You just said it. You don't have nothing. Back then I didn't have nothing. I'm getting cars repossessed. I'm getting evicted from apartments. Sometimes I had the money. Sometimes it's just because I'm a fucking heathen, because I'm a fucking hood rat. I'm doing shit. I'm beating up fucking Justin. Justin beating up me. The neighbors opening the doors like, oh my God, you guys stop it. We telling this bitch to go inside her fucking apartment. Bitch, we in the middle of a fight, bitch. Get your ass back inside where it's fucking safe. It's that shit like that. So if you want to be where I am, you got to do what I do. And what I do is I'm resilient. I'm no matter what. I'm disciplined. I'm no matter what. I done flipped 100 to 150 bands. I done flipped 100 bands into fucking seven figures. So it's just like you got to figure out where you are in this market. You got to figure out where you are in your learning curve. And if you ain't never done no shit like that, you have to listen to me. And if you don't listen to me and you miss your opportunity, I'm gonna laugh in your fucking face. Cause it don't matter. I've been free so long. I've been free so long. So at some point we're gonna get these accounts to 150,000. But timing is the blessing of it all. I don't really give a fuck. I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to lose. I didn't ask you niggas for no money. If you want to join the challenge, you can reach out to me and get in as well. But once this challenge is complete, it's just regular signals. I'm not doing another fucking challenge. This challenge, at any point, is really for my pride and ego to show you how far I've come. Although we can see how far I've come over the time span of my life. But just to show you guys what's really possible and that is done in public, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to show you a different perception, a different perspective that your accounts could really do it. You could really start with nothing. You could really start at a point in life to where you're thinking you can't come from it and really take over the whole fucking world because I did. The world can't tell me shit. Cops can't tell me shit. Judges can't tell me shit. Teachers can't tell me shit. School systems can't tell me shit. Nobody can tell me nothing. But I started at a point of going to public school, being told what to do, having to work every fucking day, needing people in my life. I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody but God. As long as I got God, I got everybody I need. And then some. But it's like, just think about it. At some point, people always turn around and say, Naomi, I see what you were talking about back then, but by then it's too late. I think I'm hard on myself. So I'm hard on other people. And I see that a lot of people, they have a hard time with that because they want the soft way up, but the soft way up is going to take you longer. You got to have that hard conversation with yourself, just like I have that hard conversation with myself every fucking day. Sometimes I just be like, I'm tired of niggas with nothing telling me about some shit. Tell yourself about some shit, just like I had to tell myself about some shit to even get up here to tell people about some shit. That's what I'm talking about. So change your perception and your whole reality gonna change. When it came to GBP USD, same thing, like I just said, up high, 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 full on breakdown, thinking this gonna hold this level here as well, I'll just show you. It's right here. Thinking it's gonna hold this level of demand right there. Boom, we retest off of it. Boom, I'm probably sleep or some shit. Annihilate that motherfucking demand. Go into the higher time frames, trying to figure out, oh, how come we annihilated that demand? Well, I'll show you why we annihilated that demand, little boys and little girls. It's right because we're just going to manipulate the market one more time. Make sure that everybody don't have no more smiles on their face going into the summertime. Make it to a point they have to decide and choose between do they want to have a summer outside or do they want to learn the skill set? And then some people are going to be like, well, I already tried this many times to try this. And I don't want to do this anymore. I'm depressed, yada, 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 yada. And then they're going to miss the opportunity because then the market going to say, all right, I think we wiped the smile off their face, guys. Let's go ahead and give it one more motherfucking go. Let's take it one more time from the top and let's get busy. Y'all know what that's off of. That's off of that new edition music video. If it isn't love, let's take it one more time for the top and let's get busy. Because it's really that. We don't have no other fucking choice. You don't understand. You don't have no other choice but to take it one more time from the top and let's get motherfucking busy. Or your ass is going to work for the rest of your life because I could tell you for sure I bought GU down here in 2022 at the same time as I'm buying fucking multiple real estate properties. At the same time of I'm in e-commerce over here, probably in 2020, I'm in e-commerce. Come on now. I could tell you where I was, what I was doing, every single point where this market was, and guarantee that market took the fuck off, gave you a low, manipulated this low in 2020 into 2021, pissed off for sure some position traders, swung from under here, manipulated one more time, and then just boom, you just gonna decide you just gonna say, fuck my demand, huh? Fuck my demand. You want to take it one more time from the bottom and let's get busy one more time like this, like that. That shit annoying, but that's what the lower time frames do. That's a weekly chart. Look at this. It's the same thing the fucking 1 hour chart is doing right now. The 4 hour chart, the fucking daily chart. You know what I'm talking about? So it's just like if you understand the market at a low point, and it don't matter whether the market is at a high point or a low point, every single low is going to give you a reason to buy. Why the fuck would you see the market selling and you're like, you know what? Just gonna sell too. and then get clapped and then be like, it's some bullshit. No, dumbass. I told you not to do it. You did it. I told you to take the money if you need it. We've had a couple of different times that the accounts got to a couple $100. If you needed a couple $100, you should have took it. Because me, my day don't change just because an account get blown. I'm just like, well, fuck. Let's do it again. Why the fuck did they do that? So now I showed you guys why I did that. Some things we can't control, but you got to understand time and the blessing, and that's gonna be ultimately how you learn. I think I went over everything. But yeah, if you want to be in the account challenge, it's only a selected group of people right now. It's not open to the public. But the um once the account challenge is complete, oh, it looks like GU probably finna come down. That's a good sign. I mean, GJ, that's a good sign that if GJ come down because that'll be for the asset to go up. Um, yeah, that'd be real good actually. But I'm keeping my eye open. And just learn from your losses and make sure you do the back work. Even Bitcoin, real quick before we get off. You see this? We got this low and this low. And then we got this low and this high, right? And then hang on, we got this, bink, 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 right? You see what I'm talking about? If y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all see it. It's right there. The market had to come down, faked out over here. Couldn't have really sold completely because maybe it's just wick rejection. Maybe if it was this that it rejected off of, but that's only the last day and a half. That's only the last day and a half. You know what I'm talking about? And then oops. Take that, go back to this level. So you kind of have said it's right there to sell. No, it hadn't even made it to that level yet. And then the level right here on the weekly chart where we just came from, we got a full breakout of that week 2 weeks ago. And then we bought this week going all the way to the top. And we are actually all the way to the bottom because we stacked the trade. But then it's like, okay, this is a weekly chart close and it did fully engulf this candle right here. But then it's like it's still in structure. The daily chart to me still looks like this, right? So now it's just a matter of once we get this trend line broken, like let me see this. Once this trend line gets broken, boop, that'll be what I'm looking for. You know what I'm talking about? But now, because of where I am in the market, until that trend line gets broken, I'm not going to probably not gonna entertain it. Not with no big ass lot sizes. So I gotta load the account again. I'm gonna extend the challenge for the 100 to 150,000. But I mean, I hope this kind of helped change your perception because to me, I gotta trick my mind every fucking day. Like I feel like I'm not gonna deserve 100 million if I don't get up there for 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day and can't work out. I don't think I'm gonna get my 100 million if I can't get over here and explain my mindset to you guys because it's like is my the way that I grew up was a blessing and a curse at the same time, if that makes sense, because it gave me the ability to want to think differently. But what is this? Bitcoin? Shit, look at this. Oh my goodness. I think that's the same thing we was just looking at GU too. Hang on. Was this the same thing? Let's go to GU real quick. I think it's the same shit. Oh my god, it is. It is. Yeah. So I got my eyes open going into next week. If you're in the signals, you're gonna get updated. If you're in the mentorship, you're gonna get updated. If you're not in any of those, you're gonna have to wait to update you on YouTube, if that makes sense. But that's all I got for you. You know, that's my mindset. You gotta be a no matter what kind of person. And if you're not, you got way more work to do than you think because there's just no other way around it. But I catch y'all. and we finna clock this market one way or another. We finna clock.